Okay, students. So, what is valency or what is covalency? It is very important definition. First, we will discuss about the definition. Valency or covalency means, for example, imagine that this mobile is oxygen atom. Okay, this oxygen atom is bonded with two hydrogen atoms, forms H2O. So around the oxygen atom, how many number of bonds are present? How many number of bonds are present? Two bonds are present. Means valency or covalency. Valency or covalency means the number of bonds around the central atom in a molecule, or combining capacity means the number of bonds formed by an atom in a molecule, or combining capacity of an atom in a molecule. Combining capacity is nothing but number of bonds only, is known as a valency, or covalency. Okay, students, let's listen. The valency means what I said, the total number of bonds formed by an atom in a molecule. Total number of bonds formed by an atom in a molecule is known as valency or covalency. For example, water molecule only you take. The water molecule, around the oxygen, two bonds are present, means hydrogen always forms a single bond only. With respect to hydrogen, means the valency of an atom with respect to hydrogen is equal to number of hydrogen atoms. For example, sulfur dioxide only you take. Sulfur dioxide, S double bond O. Oxygen atom is present as a bonded atoms. Always oxygen atom forms double bonds. That's why valency or covalency of any atom with respect to oxygen atom is equal to 2 into number of oxygen atoms. See, in SO2, sulfur valency is equal to 2 into 2. Means two oxygen atoms are present. That's why 2 into 2 is equal to 4. So sulfur is forming in SO2 has sulfur is forming 4 bonds. That's why the sulfur valency or covalency in SO2 is 4. Now what about oxygen atoms? Each oxygen atom is forming 2 bonds only. So the oxygen atom covalency is 2 and sulfur atom covalency is 4 in SO2 molecule. Okay, now that's why the valency or covalency definition is nothing but the number of covalent bonds formed by an atom or combining capacity of an atom in a compound or in a molecule is known as a valency or covalency. That is the definition. Now let's see, this valency of element is not a constant. For single one atom is present, for example, it's very clear, dear students, H2S. Okay. And SF4, SF6. In these all cases, sulfur valency is 4. Sorry, here sulfur valency is 2. In SF4, sulfur valency is 4. In SF6, sulfur valency is 6. Means the valency of element is not fixed. Valency of element is not fixed, means it is not a constant. It is variable, means it will be changes. Means it depends on the nature of the molecule or nature of the compound. So the valency is variable. Because why the valency is variable means because in a compound one atom or one element is forming more than one valency. So how to calculate the valency of a central atom? So if the central atom is surrounded by hydrogen atoms, the valence of an element with respect to hydrogen atom is equal to number of hydrogen atoms. The central atom is surrounded by the oxygen atoms. The valency of central atom with respect to oxygen atoms is equal to 2 into number of oxygen atoms. In the same way, the central atom is surrounded by the halogens like fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine. Like halogens are present, then the valency of an element with respect to halogens. With respect to halogens means what is, dear students? Halogens means fluorine, chlorine, bromine, and iodine. With respect to halogens is equal to number of halogen atoms. Number of halogen atoms. So the number of halogen atoms, for example, in SF4, how many fluorine atoms are present? 6 are present. That's why the sulfur valence is 6. In SF4, how many fluorine atoms are surrounded? 4. That's why the sulfur valence is 4. Okay. With respect to hydrogen, the valence of an element is equal to 1. Means number of hydrogen atoms. With respect to oxygen, the valence of an element, central atom, is equal to 2 into number of oxygen atoms. With respect to halogens, the valence of an element is equal to number of halogen atoms. Okay, valency is not constant, it is variable property. It is a variable property, means it will be changes because one atom can form more than one type of bonds. One atom can form more than one type of bonds it is forming, or it is forming more than one valencies, it is exhibiting more than one valencies. Valency or covalency definition, what dear students? It is nothing but number of covalent bonds surrounded by, or number of covalent bonds formed by an atom in a molecule or in a compound, or combining capacity of an atom. Combining capacity of an atom in a molecule is known as a valency. Okay, students. Now, the maximum valency of elements in periodic table. The maximum valency of elements in periodic table. Let's see. Second point, maximum valency. Maximum valency of elements. In periodic table is equal to 8. Okay. See, the valency, maximum valence or maximum combining capacity is equal to 8. So 8 is formed by what type of elements? For example, D block elements. D block elements, their maximum valence or maximum combining capacity is equal to 8. That is ruthenium, RuO4, ruthenium tetroxide. So the valency of ruthenium is equal to how many oxygen atoms are present, dear students? 4 oxygen atoms are present. So oxygen atoms are present in a molecule. Then the central atom valence is equal to 2 into number of oxygen atoms, means 8. 2 into 4 is equal to 8. And osmium tetroxide, OSO4, capital O, small s, that is called osmium. Okay, ruthenium, osmium, those all are D block elements. Osmium tetroxide, in which the valency of osmium is equal to 8. Okay, next in noble gases are zero group elements. Already the properties of zero group elements, that time I said the zero group elements names. The zero group elements also calling as inert gases, and the zero group elements also calling as noble gases. Why we are calling as noble gases? Under special conditions, in zero group elements, xenon and krypton combining with oxygen atoms. Combining with oxygen atoms. That's why these zero group elements also calling as noble gases, because all are present in gaseous state only. All are present in a gaseous state only. Now XeO4, xenon tetroxide. In xenon tetroxide, the valency of xenon is equal to 8. That's why the maximum valence in periodic table is how much, dear students? 8. So few examples. Maximum valence 8 is shown by ruthenium tetroxide, osmium tetroxide, and xenon tetroxide. Xenon tetroxide. So the valency or covalency is not fixed, it is variable property. It will be changes, depends on the nature of element present in a compound. Okay, see, for that I will give you few examples also. For example, sulfur element only you take. Sulfur is belongs to 6th group element. Sulfur is forming H2S, hydrogen sulfide. sulfur is forming SO2, sulfur dioxide. The sulfur is forming SO3, sulfur trioxide. The sulfur, when combined with halogens, forms SF4, sulfur tetrafluoride. Sulfur is combined with halogens, forms maximum SF6 also it is possible. Sulfur is belongs to 60A group elements. The 60A group elements are S and P block elements. Their maximum valency is equal to maximum number of valence electrons. Means is equal to number of valence electrons. So 60A group elements, their maximum valency how much, dear students? 6. That's why sulfur can able to form maximum valency is 6 and minimum valency is 2. So in which sulfur valency with respect to hydrogen atoms are bonded atoms. That's why its valency is 2. And in SO2, sulfur valency is 4. In SO3, sulfur valency is 6. In SF4, sulfur valency is 4. In SF6, the sulfur valency is 6. Okay, so because see sulfur atom only showing variable valencies 2, 4, 6 like different valencies. That's why valence of an element in a compound is not fixed, it is variable property. So one element can able to show maximum valencies as well as minimum valencies also. Maximum valency as well as minimum valencies also. But first A group elements, second A group elements, third A group elements and fourth A group elements in representative elements are in S and P block elements. First A, second A means S block elements. And third A and fourth A group elements mostly they shows one kind of valence only. First A group element valence is always fixed, it is 1. Second A group elements valence is always fixed, it is 2 only. They doesn't have minimum and maximum. The maximum and minimum valence is only 1, that is 2 only. Third A group elements 3 and fourth A group elements 4. But upon 5th, 6th, 7th and 0 group onwards, they exhibiting different valences. Okay, now the 5th A group elements means nitrogen family, nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, tin and bismuth. So in the valence shell contains 5 electrons are present and minimum valence is 3 and maximum valence is 4. In between they can able to form 4, 3, 5 like different valencies are possible. And in the same way 60A group elements, their valence shell contains 6 electrons are present. Valence shell means outermost shell contains 6 electrons are present. Their minimum valence is 2 and maximum valence is 4. And 7th A group elements are halogen family. The valence shell contains 7 electrons are present. The valence shell contains 7 electrons are present. Their minimum valence is 1. Like halogens are bonded atoms. In SF4, what is the valence of fluorine atoms? Each fluorine atom 1 only, because fluorine like so this fluorine, one single fluorine atom is forming how many bonds? 1 bond only. That's why each fluorine atom valence is 1. The same way HClO4. What is this HClO4? Perchloric acid. HClO4 is perchloric acid in which chlorine valency we need to identify. Already I said while just you are observing that oxygen atoms how many are there? 4 are there. 4 to the 8 plus 1 9. But 9 is not possible. So maximum valence is showing. How much? It should be 7 only. How it is 7 came? Let's see. This chlorine is a central atom. Is formed double bond with 3 oxygen atoms. And 1 oxygen atom is forming a single bond. This oxygen atom again 1 more bond with hydrogen. OH group is present. Now how many bonds are present? 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1. Okay. Now around the chlorine atoms 7 bonds are present. That's its valence is 7. In HClO4, chlorine atom valence is 7. That's why maximum valency of 7th A group elements is 7. Not more than its group number in Roman numbers. Zero group elements, their minimum valence is zero because zero group elements are exist in atomic state, monoatomic state, helium, neon, argon like. And also the xenon and krypton under special conditions they form some covalent compounds. That's why they are showing their maximum valency or combining capacity for zero group elements is 8. Example HCO4, xenon tetroxide. So this is about valency or covalency concept. Okay, students, understood? Anybody have doubt? Let inform to me. Abhay, Mr. Rani, Shravana, yes, Saujanya, yes, ma. Okay, let's go for next concept. Here in the valency only one more type of valency is present, that is electrovalency. Electrovalency or ionic valency. Mostly valency we are calling as covalency, means just that covalency is nothing but the valency of an atom or element in covalent compounds. The same way the valency of an element in ionic compounds is called as electrovalency or ionic valency. Okay, what is the definition for ionic valency? Let's see. Ionic valency. Or electrovalency. Electrovalence. Ionic valence or electrovalence. Ionic valence or electrovalence is nothing but number of electrons transferred. Number of electron transfer from one atom to another atom is nothing but one atom is losing electrons, another atom is gaining electrons. Means number of electron transfer means either gain or loss. Close. Gain or loss is known as ionic valency. Okay, dear students, let's see one important example. NaCl. This NaCl is ionic compound, we know very well. This NaCl, the sodium is lost one electron and the chlorine is gaining one electron. That's why how it will be ionized. NaCl is ionized Na plus Cl minus. Now the ionic valency. Now the ionic valency of sodium is equal to 1 and ionic valence of chlorine is equal to 1 because that chlorine atom is receiving one electron and sodium is losing one electron only. Next, CaCl2, calcium chloride. How the calcium chloride is forming? Calcium is losing 2 electrons and 2 chloride ions are accepting one electron. Means it will be ionized Ca plus 2 plus 2Cl minus 2Cl minus. Now the ionic valency calcium is equal to 2. The same way the ionic valence of chlorine is equal to 1. Ionic valence of chlorine is equal to 1. Okay students, understood? So for example, calcium is losing how many electrons? 2 electrons. Each chlorine atom is gaining how many electrons? 1 electron only. Okay. Is nothing but ionic valence is nothing but the charge of the ions. Calcium charge is what, man? Plus 2 means its valence is 2. chloride ion charge is -1. Don't say the valence is -1. Minus is nothing but it indicates that number of electrons gained. How many electrons gained? 1 electron. That's why the magnitude of charge means 1. So the chlorine valence is 1. The same way, AlF3, aluminium trifluoride. The aluminium trifluoride, how it will be? Al3 plus 3F minus. 3F minus. Now its valency, ionic valence is 3 and its fluorine ionic valence is 1. Fluorine ionic valence is 1. Understood? So this is about ionic valency or electrovalency. Electrovalency. So completely valency or covalency and ionic valency concept we have discussed. What is the maximum ionic valence covalency? Also we have discussed. Okay. So valency or covalency is not fixed. It is a variable property. Okay. Let's see that next important periodic properties. Next important periodic property is metallic and non-metallic nature. Metallic and non-metallic nature. Okay. We know very well, already we have discussed that metallic nature and non-metallic nature, how it will forms, how they exhibits. So this metallic nature and non-metallic nature mainly depends on electronegative concept and electropositive concept. For example, for an atom, the atom which are having low electronegativity. Electronegativity is low and high electropositivity. So electropositivity is more, which has more metallic nature. More metallic nature. Okay. Now the second one is the atoms which are having high electronegativity. Electronegativity is high and low electropositivity. Electropositivity is low. Those are having more non-metallic nature. Non-metallic nature. Okay. So now and another some other compounds also present. Those are metalloids or semi-metals. Metalloids are semi-metals, means they have both metallic character and non-metallic character are present. Those are called semi-metals or metalloids. Metalloids means the elements which are having both metal and non-metal. The elements which are having both metal and non-metallic nature. Metallic and non-metallic nature. Called as metalloids. Or semi-metals. Okay, called as semi-metals. Example: silicon, germanium, arsenic, antimony, tellurium. These are called as examples for metalloids. Okay. Now, metallic nature, how it will be changes in a groups and periods, and non-metallic nature, how it is changes in a groups and periods. We have to see. Variation in groups and periods. Variation in groups and periods. Okay, students, how it is various, both metallic nature and non-metallic nature, how they are changing in a groups and periods. Let's see. In a group, top to bottom, in a group top to bottom, metallic nature increases. Metallic nature increases, and non-metallic nature decreases. Metallic nature is increasing and non-metallic nature decreases. Let's see one example. First A group elements. In first A group elements, top to bottom metallic nature is increasing. So lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, and cesium. The same way, second A group elements, beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, and radium. Top to bottom, metallic nature is increasing and non-metallic nature decreases. This is metallic nature order. Metallic nature order. Okay. Now in a period, left to right, metallic nature decreases and non-metallic nature increases. Why non-metallic nature is increasing in a period? Because electronegativity is increasing. But in a group, why metallic nature is increasing? Because electropositivity is increasing. In a group, electropositivity is increasing from top to bottom. That's why metallic nature is increasing. In a period left to right, electronegativity is increasing, then non-metallic nature increases. Let's see one example. Non-metallic nature ion. Second period elements, non-metallic nature order. Let's see. What are the second period elements, dear students? Lithium. Okay. Next, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and fluorine. So among these, more non-metallic character, more electronegativity is fluorine. That's why it has more non-metallic character. Okay, non-metallic character in a period left to right increasing, and metallic character decreases, obviously reverse. So this is about a variation of metallic nature and non-metallic nature in a groups and periods. In a groups and periods. So let's see next one important point. Okay, one important point, that is in a periodic table, S block elements are having more metallic nature, and then D block elements, and then P block elements. So metallic nature. Metallic nature for S block elements, because in a periodic table left to right non-metallic nature is increasing. Right side mostly which elements are present? P block elements are present. That's why P block elements are having more non-metallic nature, less metallic character. Among that, which is on left side, S block elements are present. So S block elements are more metallic nature and less non-metallic nature. So S block elements are more metallic nature, and then D block elements, and then P block elements. Okay, students, it is very important, this order. Now, metals all are solids. Metals, what is the physical state of metals, dear students? Metals all are solids, but except mercury. Except mercury. Mercury is a, yes, mercury is a liquid metal. Okay, and one more very important point. Cesium and gallium has very low melting points. Cesium and gallium has very low melting points. How much approximately cesium and gallium melting points, dear students? It is approximately 302. 303 Kelvin. Cesium and gallium has very low melting points. These all are metals only, but soft nature. The metallic nature is soft. That's why they have low melting points. Generally, metals has high melting points, but S block elements, when compared to D block elements has more melting points. But S block elements are soft metals. That's why they have low melting points. Low melting points, and exist liquid state at room temperature. Room temperature means how much, ma? 25 degrees centigrade. 25 degrees centigrade means how many kelvins, dear students? Just you have 25 degrees centigrade plus 273. So 273 plus 25, 298. 298 kelvins. So here the temperature is just 302. Just means generally there exist in liquid state around at room temperature. Lower temperatures only they are existing in solid state. Cesium and gallium are existing low temperatures. Solids. If temperature is more, liquids. Temperature is more liquid state. They exist in liquid state. Now, and non-metals. Non-metals means mostly they are present in P block elements. Mostly P block elements have non-metals are present. Almost all non-metals are present in P block only. Okay. In that non-metals, they exist in solid state as well as in gaseous states also. The non-metals are exist in solid state as well as in gaseous state also, and their melting points and boiling points of non-metals are low when compared to metals. So this is about metallic and non-metallic nature, their properties, and how they are various in groups and periods. Okay, students, understood for everyone? Anybody have doubt? Clear? Yes. Okay. Okay. Let's go for next important periodic property, that is acidic nature and basic nature of oxides. Okay. The next very important periodic property is acidic and basic nature of oxides. Okay. So before discussing about that, what are the acidic nature of oxides and what are the basic nature of oxides, how they are various changes is came in periods as well as in groups, we will discuss about that. But before, what are the types of oxides, we will discuss. So nature of oxides, based on the nature of oxides, oxides are four types. Based on the nature, oxides are divided into four types. Oxides are divided into how many types, dear students? Four types. Okay. What are the four types of oxide, dear students? One is acidic oxides, the second one is basic oxides, the third one is neutral oxides, and fourth one is amphotic oxides. Amphotic oxides. Okay. Acidic oxides means mostly non-metal oxides. Basic oxides means mostly metal oxides. Some oxides, some of the non-metal oxides, they exist in neutral state. Means they does not react with acids as well as bases. Those are called neutral oxides. Amphotic oxides means they have acidic characters as well as basic characters. Those are called amphotic oxides. These properties, how the acidic nature and basic nature is changing in groups and periods, next class we will discuss. Okay, students?